Email deliverability is one of the most intimidating and confusing topics in all of email marketing. It's the difference between landing in the inbox and landing in spam, and almost nobody's talking about it. Well, today I'm going to demystify and simplify email deliverability so that you can go from the spam folder to the primary inbox as fast as possible. And you're gonna be able to do all of this without any nerdy tactics or software subscriptions or coding at all. I'm in Klaviyo accounts of 7- and 8-figure brands every single day, and nearly half the brands I audit are either going to spam and don't know it, or if they do know it, have no clue what to do about it. They obsess over stuff like reputation rebuilding tools, email design, their subject lines, and discount codes after discount codes after discount codes, all just trying to squeeze out a few more sales. But none of that's necessary to get your emails in front of your audience easily and consistently. So to start, we have to talk about why your emails actually end up in spam. Think of your sender reputation like a credit score. Every time you send an email, the inbox provider looks at what the recipient does next. Do people open it? Do they click? Do they ignore it? Do they unsubscribe? Do they mark it as spam? Or are a large number of addresses bouncing? To be clear, one ignored email isn't going to destroy your deliverability. Say you send an email to a large and broad list. A low percentage of your audience is actually going to engage with the email. This lowers your reputation, resulting in less trust and favor with these inbox providers like Gmail or Yahoo or Apple. And because of this, even fewer people are gonna see your next email. So you end up sending more emails to make up for the lost revenue, but you don't change your strategy. And that creates even more negative signals, and you start all over again on that downward spiral. This is how brands absolutely cook their sender reputation, and then all of a sudden they start saying, oh yeah, we tried email, it doesn't work for us, or whatever. And once your reputation drops, even the people that wanna see your emails aren't gonna see them. And if we're being real, nobody's gonna go digging in the spam folder between emails from Saudi Arabian princes and super shady supplement sales to find your emails. So the way that you break this cycle, improve your deliverability, and make more money from emails may sound counterintuitive, but you actually need to start sending to fewer people at first. Before diving into the system, I need to clear the noise on what's actually going to help you improve your deliverability and what's not really worth your time. Number one, spam words are the main problem. There's no magical list of words that automatically sends emails into spam. You're allowed to say free shipping. You're allowed to say sale. You can say limited time. You can still reach the primary inbox. Now, to be honest, these may have a tiny impact on deliverability, but if you're putting your time and effort into this, you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. Number two, the promotions tab means that you failed. Promotions is not equal to spam. You are an e-commerce brand. Gmail knows that you're an e-commerce brand and that you send promotional emails. There's no way to get around that. You're not gonna fake out Google. And to be clear, landing in the promotions tab doesn't mean that you have a deliverability problem. As you build your reputation and improve your content strategy, which I have a ton of info on my YouTube channel, you are going to land in the primary inbox more often. And more often than not, I've found that when your content strategy is solid, even if you land in the promotions tab, people are still going to engage with your emails. Number three, authentication automatically guarantees inbox placement. Your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC authentications absolutely matter. Do not skip those. If you haven't done that, that's super important. Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, all those require them for high volume senders, but they only prove that the email actually came from you. They don't tell you anything about the content, and they don't prove that people actually want it. The good news is that Klaviyo makes it super easy to check and fix this stuff. And if you haven't done this, I've actually attached some resources that Klaviyo's put together to make it way easier for you to do this in just a few minutes. Real quick, if you want me to personally audit your email setup and find exactly where you're losing money, click the first link in the description to book a free call. In that call, I'm gonna give you 3 to 5 clear, easy, and custom steps to help you fix your deliverability and turn email into your highest ROI channel. Anyway, let's get back to it. So once your backend is set up properly, the real work comes down to 2 things. Those are content and segmentation. And this is the system that gets you out of spam. So assuming your authentications are all in place, the next step is fixing who you actually send your emails to. And this is exactly how we get our clients out of spam in just a few weeks. We call it the Deliverability Roadmap. So here we are in Klaviyo, and what we're going to do first is limit who we're actually sending to only people that we really think are going to engage with our content. And so what we're gonna do is go to list and segments, and I'm gonna show you the segment that we're going to be making to start. So this is our 14-day engaged segment. And that might seem a little bit crazy, especially whenever you've maybe been collecting emails for years, but trust me, this is where we need to start. So the way that you're going to make this in Klaviyo is your first condition is going to be if someone can or cannot receive marketing. They can receive email marketing, and then you're going to click this little plus button here because they've subscribed. Now, this is optional. They don't do this automatically. I like to do it because we're really trying to play it extra safe to start. Then we're going to do and what someone has done or not done. They have opened an email at least once in the last 2 weeks, 14 days, whatever. Or they've clicked an email at least once in the last 14 days. And the reason that we do this is because sometimes Klaviyo's tracking gets a little bit goofy, and it'll say that somebody's clicked an email without having opened it. And so just to be safe, we're going to cover they have opened an email or they've clicked an email in the last 2 weeks. And then once again, to play it extra safe, we're going to say and they've never bounced. And while this is in an account that we've been running email for a while, so we have multiple thousand people engaging every single day, if you haven't done email or haven't really taken it seriously, this is likely going to be a couple hundred people or maybe even less. And that's okay. Remember, the whole point of this isn't to send to our entire list right now. It's only to send to people we know are going to engage with our content. And since we know that they've engaged with our emails in the last 2 weeks, the likelihood that they engage with the next thing that we send them is going to be really, really high. And the main things we're looking for are ideally 50% plus open rates, and then hopefully as high of a click rate as possible. Although click rates are going to be different for every single brand, so I pay less attention to that and more so care about open rates and just making sure that people actually want to see the content. So we're going to start with sending to that 14-day engaged segment. And we're going to continue sending to them every other day, 3 to 4 days a week, until you get 3 campaigns in a row that hit 50% open rate or higher. And once performance holds, what you're going to end up doing is cloning this segment and changing out the definition to opened email at least once in the last 30 days or clicked in the last 30 days. And this is basically going to change your 14-day engaged list to a 30-day engaged list. Now, if you're sending 3 to 4 campaigns a week and you're waiting to get 3 campaigns in a row that have at least 50% opens, this will take you at least a week to get to, but it also might end up taking you 2 or 3 weeks. Just stay the course and it will happen without fail, especially if you have a high converting pop-up form that grows your list rapidly. And once you bump up to the 30-day list, you just repeat the process, getting 3 50% opens in a row, and then you'll bump up to 60-day engaged. And then once you're getting 50% opens consistently with 60-day, you bump up to 90, and then you can keep going from there. Some people don't necessarily agree with me on this, but I believe that as long as you're getting 50% open rates, you should just widen the list that you're sending to until people clearly aren't engaging with your content anymore. Something to be aware of is that as you expand your list, the audience gets colder and colder. And so seeing a drop in your open rates is totally normal. What you do need to be aware of is if your performance drops dramatically. So say you're going from 30-day engaged, where you're getting 50% open rates, you bump up to 60. And when you start sending to your 60-day engaged list, you start getting 25% open rates. Well, you don't have to go all the way back down to 30. You can try a 40-day or 45-day engaged list and then work your way back up from there. There aren't any set rules to this. You're just trying to send to as large of a list as possible that continues to engage. But don't go from your 14-day engaged list where you're getting 50% open rates and decide to start sending to your entire list after that. Don't do that jump because you're going to ruin everything and you're going to have to start all over and it's going to kill your deliverability all over again. It's also incredibly important while you're doing this to not forget about your flows. A lot of people recommend pausing all of your flows while building up your deliverability. I would actually seriously advise against that. Since your flows are targeted towards people making specific actions, they're actually incredibly high intent a lot of the time. And because of that, people who are highly engaged with your brand are going to be looking for them or come across them and decide to open. So what I recommend doing, instead of going and shutting off all your flows, go and manually look over every single email and just pause the emails that are getting under a 50% open rate or have some sort of weird thing going on where maybe the bounce rates are really high or the click rates are really low, just any sort of abnormal negative behavior, you can pause those as well. But if opens are high, clicks are high, people are converting, keep it open because that email is clearly helping your deliverability. And the first ones that I would look at are your welcome flow, your cart and checkout abandonment, and your post-purchase flows. Those generally get really high engagement. Remember, the goal isn't to just shut all these emails down, it's to remove the emails that are sending weak or negative signals to the inbox providers. The next thing that you need to do is clean out the dead weight from your list. So I do try to hold off on this for as long as possible, but Klaviyo isn't cheap these days. So I totally understand if you feel like you need to start pruning your list, cleaning it up pretty quickly. So after a month or two of trying to re-engage your subscribers, we're gonna identify the people that haven't opened, clicked, or really engaged with any of our emails in a certain period. The right time window definitely depends on the brand and the purchasing cycle and things like that. But you can start with 6 months, a year, whatever. And here's what that looks like. So you could literally clone this segment that we've created, change it to, suppression lists. Instead of somebody opened email at least once, you can say open email 0 times in the last, say we want to suppress, 180 days. So people haven't engaged in 180 days. Go 0 times in the last 180 days. And then for me, I'd probably say at least once over all time on the bounce segment of that. And this is your suppression list. Now it actually also say or, not and, on the bounced email. Now, as you can see here, there are a lot of people that haven't engaged that we could probably suppress, save a lot of money. And potentially another controversial thing, I don't really see a point in sending like a, hey, we missed you email to these people before suppressing them, just because you've probably been sending them engaging, high quality content for a couple months at this point. So saying we miss you probably won't get them back. So I'd rather spend that effort on something else that's higher leverage and just suppress them. Now, it also makes sure that you're suppressing them, not deleting them from Klaviyo entirely. Suppressing means that you're no longer paying for their profile, but Klaviyo will hold on to their data so that if they ever re-engage, they ever resubscribe on the website or anything like that, they'd pick up where they left off with the data that they already have on that account. And doing this lowers your Klaviyo bill significantly, but it also protects you from sending to unengaged profiles forever and ever, and making it more difficult to recover your deliverability. And to hit this home, a few months ago, we started with a client that had a little over 10,000 unengaged profiles in their Klaviyo account. We tried to get them back, but after a few months, it was clear they were not going to engage. And so it was just time to let them go. Suppressing them saved our client roughly $2,000 a year, which is almost like giving them a free month of our service. So needless to say, they're pretty psyched about that. And to wrap up, I've just got some pro tips that are gonna make this whole process a lot easier for you. First, you need to reuse your best campaigns. Whenever you're first sending, very few people actually saw the campaigns you sent. It might have only been a few hundred people, but eventually you're going to be sending to thousands of people. So as your audience expands, I recommend that you reuse your winners, because if 150 people saw an email and it performed relatively well, it makes sense that whenever you're sending to 10,000 people, you should show those 10,000 people again, because in all likelihood, it's going to perform way better for them too. I'd recommend you putting some space between reusing campaigns, maybe a month or two, and then change the subject line, maybe change the opening angle if it's not super important to the content. And I'd even send it to the people you sent it to the first time, because they're probably not going to remember anyways. Number two, we are aiming for 50% open rates or higher. But if you're seeing 35% open rates or lower, don't freak out, but I would recommend pulling back your segmentation and let the engagement grow back up again. Number three, subscribe to your own list and see where your emails are going in your own inbox. Are they going to the primary inbox? Are they going to promotions? Are they going in spam? This is just going to be one helpful data point that'll show you what direction you're going in deliverability wise. Number four, if your own inbox and the stats you're seeing in Klaviyo aren't quite adding up, it's okay. It's just one inbox compared to thousands that you're sending to. It might be worth checking out a deliverability tool online. And there are like millions of free and paid deliverability tools, and they're all pretty much the same. All you need to do is give it a Google, read some Reddit reviews, and figure out one that you think is reputable. If you're okay paying money, that's one thing. If you need it to be free, totally fine. They're all basically the same from what I've seen. Number five is just a reminder that we're looking for consistent improvement over multiple sends, not judging after just one campaign send. Just stick to the process. I know it's annoying having 20,000 emails, but only being able to send to 500. Yes, it totally sucks. But this is the only way that you can reliably access that other 19,500 emails, and you just have to go through this process. If you go through this, you'll know that within 30 days, maybe 45 days, you'll be able to access all those other emails and it'll all work out. And it's whenever you're able to access your entire list that you start seeing email generating 45% of your overall revenue. And that is definitely worth the wait, I promise. Getting out of spam isn't as complicated as people make it sound. All you have to do is send good content to people that actually want to see it. That's the only rule. So start with your most engaged subscribers and slowly earn your way back to the rest of the list. And if you want us to handle all this for your brand, click the link in the description and book a call with me. We'll look through your Klaviyo account, figure out what's hurting your deliverability, and I'll give you 3 to 5 action items to turn email into your highest ROI channel. So go book a free audit by clicking the link below. But if you're gonna be doing this by yourself, watch this next video where I go over our exact non-discount campaign strategy that helps us send over 200 campaigns per year for each one of our clients without depending on discounts. I'll see you there.